All right, it's 4 o'clock. I call to order the Perry Township Board of Trustees special meeting for June 17th, 2022. Please call the roll.
Trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes.
Okay, we have a few lengthy topics to talk about today, so we're going to start off by having visitors speak before. That way, if you have somewhere to go, we have a lot to talk about, so don't want to keep you unnecessarily. So
I'll go ahead and speak.
could you step up here where the microphone is?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and speak. I'll stick around as long as I might.
I will warn you, if you rustle papers, that's all that microphone will hear. We've had a problem a few times now, so
Okay.
want to mention it.
My name is Bonnie Bertelson. I live on Heckathorn Road. And I just wanted to, I'm interested in this fire levy because I understand that unincorporated, even though I moved from unincorporated Perry to incorporated Perry, I think it's a matter of loving your neighbor. And I'm willing to pay, you know, the extra taxes, but I think that if anyone is interested, I would like to try to get a citizens organization going that will walk around door to door and explain to people what's going on, because as I understand it, the contract ends December 31st. There may be a 90-day extension possible.
I've not heard anything on that.
But even with that, and according to the ORC, the contracts can only be 3 years and no more. And so anyway, Perry Township does not have the money to pay for a contract if this levy doesn't pass. That's how I see it. I could be wrong. You can correct me if I am. But basically, I just want to say that once the contract ends, if we don't get something, when the contract ends, a vote against this levy is a vote against fire protection. That's just a comment, okay?
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else want to speak?
I'm good. Thank
All right, not a problem.
Can Bonnie, is there somewhere that someone can reach out to you if they are interested in helping you?
Yes, they can contact me. I've
Put you on the spot.
contacted, huh?
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, they can contact me via email, I prefer. And my email address is bjbertelson, BERTELSON @gmail.com.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. I also have signs when the time comes.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, the first topic that we had for discussion was the crack ceiling. The Board of Trustees meeting, because Mr. Hoops was otherwise indisposed. We didn't have the numbers in front of us for what was being asked to be purchased, quantity, price, etc. Looks like here one skid weighs 2,250 pounds at 92 cents a pound. That comes to $2,070. That includes the use of the equipment to apply the crack sealer. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the plan is to put it down in October. And the roads that are being targeted are Sheep Road, Schoolhouse Road, and then see how much is left to go down Amity, where the county program left off last year, and work from east to west with what's left. We're hoping to have the equipment for at least 2 weeks,
Just
depending on availability. What was that?
depending on what we use or don't
Right.
use, it has a 3-year shelf life as well. So
Right.
if we don't use it all
Right. So
for a while.
it, 2 skids, that would be $4,140. Do we have, does anyone have any issues with acquiring this? This is something that's needed and it hasn't been done for a while. I'll make a motion then to make the purchase of the crack sealer, 2 skids at a cost of $4,140.
Second,
Trustee Mears,
yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Music.
Yes.
Okay, next topic is the fire levy discussion. So we do have a small sample size on the survey responses. I believe we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 responses. That's not bad, and just around 4 days, I guess. For the most part, people don't seem to be opposed to the 3.5, or the 4. They understand the importance of it. We did have the question on there, which I have to admit, I didn't know in the ORC, it said it was a max of 3 years for that contract, so we'll have to dig into that a little bit.
It's interesting.
Our goal was to go longer so that we have to negotiate less often. Because the goal is that this fire levy is going to push us well above the red for the foreseeable future. 10 years isn't unexpected, looking at how the numbers project out based on what we would be paying with 3 to 6% increase per year based on cost of living and inflation. So to me, I mean, it would be nice to put a 3 mil on the ballot to get it passed. But I think if we don't want to have to deal with this for a while, a 4 mil is probably the only option at this point, just to make sure that, one, we're bringing something to the table for the city managers and the fire departments to see that we are serious about making right on what we've owed and what we will owe. And that way, that hopefully opens the door for the contract negotiations to move forward in a what I would see as a pretty good show of good faith, that we're willing to do this. The other thing here is that looking at the surrounding areas, fire services aren't cheap. They're just not. If you look at what Jackson is paying for their fire department, I know at least one of their districts is paying like 14% or 14 mil. Wow, it's not cheap. So there's a lot of things that go into this cost, but I think, one, making sure that we don't have to build a fire department. Prices goes up very steeply. As soon as you start talking about that, it takes years, time, and the right person to pull it together. And I think it's in our best interest to push forward with levy. So this time I'll ask the other trustees what their thoughts are on the sample size survey and the current state of things as we try to move forward with this
What did
fire
we
levy.
put on last time?
2.5.
2.5.
2.5, yeah. But that was only for a capital improvement. So this would bring us up to 6.4, 6.416, something like that. Because it's like 2.416 or something like that now.
At the current rate.
Yeah. So we're not replacing the current rate. We're adding to it to ensure the services in perpetuity. At least for 10 years. I mean, at that point in time, we can evaluate, and if I don't think you can pass a levy to lower rates. You would have to do a replacement
Yeah.
to lower anything at that point.
Now, just to kind of throw this out there too, for you guys for consideration, based off of $100,000 home.
Right.
For 3 mil, you would be looking at an additional $105 a year.
Mhm.
For 3.5 mil would be $122.50 a year,
I'm sorry, say that again.
$122.50 per year. And a 4 mil would be $140 more per year. So the difference between the 4 mil and the 3 mil, you're only looking at a $35 difference.
Right.
But it would give us more breathing room.
Most definitely. And, you know, I've said it before and I've tried really hard not to sound like I'm against agriculture because I'm not. But understand that what makes Perry Township so great, makes everybody so happy about it with the agriculture, it does have a cost. And not being able to charge full tax rates against those properties hurts. There's a study that I came across from 2012 that specifically looked at CAUV in Ohio and how it impacts small municipalities trying to provide the services that they're required to. And it's pretty revealing. And I'll share that study with the other trustees. It's long, but the conclusion page basically gets to the bread and butter of it. I don't want to change Perry Township. I think it's important for Perry Township to stay the way that it is. Would it be better if there was some business, more business in Perry Township? Most definitely. That shifts the burden from the residents to the businesses. You know, putting JEDs in place so that you can extend that benefit for a number of years. Perry Township at this point in time just isn't an attractive place to put a factory or put a shipping center. We're not centrally located as close to the interstate as, you know, the land that's currently for sale in Brookville up by the interstate. So that said, we love Perry Township. We don't want to change Perry Township. All that means that the responsibility of the residents goes up exponentially. Goes up more for those that aren't involved with agriculture, but those involved with agriculture have other prices and other costs that they have to pay to maintain what they do. I'm not discounting that. I don't want it to come out as I'm saying something against agriculture, but understand that agriculture does have a detrimental impact to the tax collecting capability of a small municipality like Perry Township. It's very important that people understand that. So when people start asking about, you know, well, why a 4 mil levy? Because we need it. This isn't something that we're trying to just pull off the cuff. This is something that's required to ensure the safety of our residents, their property. Do you think anyone is going to want to move to a place that doesn't have fire services? So, you know, we're trying not to create a problem for the residents of Perry Township. Unfortunately, we are trying to fix it in the 11th hour. Not by design,
No.
it's just the circumstances of how we got here. So I'm not looking backwards, I'm dealing with today. But that's the truth of it. We do have our shoulder, at least one shoulder against the wall right now. Once we figure out what we're gonna do with the fire levy millage, then we have to go back to the 2 municipalities that provide us those services and have an earnest conversation, probably a couple conversations, to convey to them that we're looking to start anew. We understand the slings and arrows of past days. Don't discount that at all. But today, we're trying to do what's right for the township and pay what we will owe for a significant amount of time for the services we're looking to consume. And I think that deserves a level of respect to bring them to the table to have that negotiation. So hopefully that'll be enough to kind of stimulate those talks. And hopefully we won't have a lot of issues. Can't say whether we will or won't, just hope that we don't.
Yeah. So to break that down for everybody, on the 3 mil, that's 28 cents a day. On 3.5 mil, that's 33 cents a day. On the 4 mil, that's 38 cents a day.
And-
One other thing.
Yes.
Trustee Hartshorn, something else I thought about, because we've talked a lot about the impact that it'll have if we don't have the coverage to people's homeowners insurance. Another thing that I'm sure that it's going to affect is people being able to buy and sell houses.
That's the.
Because when it comes to it, you know, when you go to apply for a loan and you have a mortgage on your house, they have to have that proof that you've got that insurance coverage in place.
Right.
And so I don't know, to banks, that may be a higher risk if you're in an area that doesn't have. And so it could affect your potential of getting a loan. It could affect your potential of refinancing.
And it
Selling
definitely
your
would,
home.
well, and selling. So exactly, if nobody's gonna buy it and you can't sell it,
Mhm.
So the other option is that, you know, this, if it doesn't pass, is folks in surrounding areas can ask to be annexed.
that's the other part of the extreme side of the
Right.
balance, right?
And so what that means, you still are going to have to pay for fire services.
Yes.
So-
The
so
thing
if
is,
you- if
then
you
would
get-
go into what Clay is currently
Correct.
charging.
If you get annexed, then, well, I think the city itself will now have to create its own fire district.
Well, it would.
And they would have to ask you to pass a levy
Anyhow,
to pay for it.
Yep.
So it's a service that we have to pay for. We have to pay for it. Everyone needs it. Just like, we need police protection. We need fire and EMS protection. It's a service that we all contribute to.
the important topic, and trustee Music brought this up after talking with the Board of Elections, is that I believe out of 5,200 residents, not all of them of voting age, we had approximately 850 people vote, and the levy failed miserably in the incorporated areas of Perry Township. So the incorporated areas, the ones that don't necessarily know that they're part of Perry Township, that's where if someone was to look at talking to people, I'm just saying this in general, that's probably a good place to talk to people and get them to understand how things are and what the impacts can be. So that's, is there anything else? Now that we've seen the sample size,
Yeah.
we're going to continue to have the survey out there.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to go to the township website and read all of the data, we have it's broken out. We got it from the county. It shows based on the approximate value of your property up to $200,000, I believe, what the cost is per year in addition to what you're already paying. And it's not too hard to calculate any additional value over 200,000 based off the steps that they have identified. That can be found at Perry Township -mcoh.org. When you get to the township website, right at the top, there is a yellow banner, I believe, that says, click here for information on the Perry Township 2022 fire levy. We have information from the county auditor's office. We have information that we've collected in our correspondence and meetings with the municipalities providing the fire services. And everything that we know is there. Anything new that we find out will be put there so that we are being 150% transparent with the residents on what we're doing, what needs to be done, and why it needs to be done. So that said, is there any other comments? Okay, then at this time, I'll make a motion to set the millage for the 2022 fire levy at 4 mil.
I'll second it.
Trustee Music,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears.
Yes.
Now, we will need to do a thing to the auditor to certify those.
Right.
I'll
First,
get
we have
that.
to go back to Brookville and.
Well, we'll go to them, and then once we've done that, then we'll do the,
Talk to them and they may not be happy with this. They may come back and say, no, we need a 5. They may come back and say, that's fine, but you're gonna have to pay this additional. I'm just saying, because they would not give us
Just
a,
decided on 4, and I think that's where we need to sit.
I know, but we could take this to them and they could say, I'm not happy with it.
The possibility is
Hey,
there and
I know, I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm not,
I know.
I'm not here to make your department comfortable.
and
I'm here to pay to provide a service for us.
and to be fair, I believe at 4 mil, we're paying more at that point than what Clay's paying. I believe.
To
We
be
have
honest,
to,
because
we have to have it
that's how they-
certified first to see that it's not just a millage to millage. Our millage based on our population would equal
Yes.
X, theirs equals Y, and then we find that out. But if what we're paying now is greater than what Clay is paying, then there's really
I
no
think Clay's-
argument.
We're not at the same levels, right? So like they pass theirs.
We're
we
not,
pass ours,
but-
we're stair stepping each other.
But
on and
historically,
on.
you have to understand that there's always been a thing saying Perry's not paying their share versus what Clay's paying. So they haven't been able to get Clay to go up to where they need to be because we weren't where we needed to be. So not saying that that's anything we need to worry about. I'm explaining the history of it.
Right.
You know, it is what it is. Did you have your hand raised?
Oh, well, it was my understanding and I'm old, my memory gives out sometimes, but and I had called, made contact and I don't think that there has been an additional levy since
2010 passed. 2010,
Yeah, yeah, we've explained that a few different times that we've been coasting on a levy that's 12 years old and based on property values from 12 years ago.
yes.
So that's another thing residents need to understand is that, you know, in this situation, we do owe. And there's something we have to do to actually come current with both the current costs for today, but also for moving forward to ensure those services. And the 4 mil levy allows us to do that.
And I think if Brookville and New Lebanon want to be a lot more transparent in their needs, then I'd be willing to accept maybe their disapproval of our
So,
millage.
And that's
But
fair.
if they're not.
Since they haven't provided
decided on
anything,
Something.
right, since they haven't
that's what
opened,
we'll have.
as they say in the military, they haven't opened the kimono. They haven't shown us what they're working from. Without having that, we can't have a conversation.
Right.
Sight unseen 4 mil is fair for what we're looking for based on the rates and everything else that we got from the county on what that would generate. Could we do more? Possibly,
Maybe.
but we're not gonna do more unless we understand the true impacts of providing those services.
Right.
So I agree with that. That's 150%. Sorry, we do have to move on. At this time, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 121.22, paragraph G1, I move that we adjourn into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee.
Trustee Music,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears.
All right, we will pause the meeting. We will when we return, the sound will be turned back on. All right, I make a motion to return to regular session.
Second,
Trustee Mears,
yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes,
trustee Music.
Yes.
at this time, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Trustee Music,
Yes.
trustee Hartshorn,
Yes.
trustee Mears.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Sorry, guys.